The Rob Roy Way, 80 miles from Drimmen to Pitlochry in August 2021. This was a fascinating walk in the steps of Scotland's most notorious outlaw, Rob Roy MacGregor, from Drimmen in the lowlands to Pitlochry in the highlands. I literally walked in splendid isolation through vast, remote, silent and majestic forests and stunning lowland and highland scenery. I didn't see a soul on the trail between villages during the 7 days it took me to walk it. Day 1, Drimmen to Aberfoyle, 11 miles. This is where the Rob Roy Way starts in Drimmen. Rob Roy's words would seem to be particularly relevant in the light of current global events. The Taliban had just taken over control of Afghanistan when I started my walk. World leaders could learn a thing or two from him. A nostalgic moment just outside Drimmen as my trail crossed the West Highland Way, which I completed in 2013. One of literally thousands of rowan trees on the trail. Rowan, which is also known as mountain ash, has numerous culinary, medicinal, mythological and magical properties, and I could write a whole book about it. Interestingly, it is one of the trees which features in the Old Gaelic Ogham script. For more information about this subject, see my video on witchcraft and Reiki. The Ogham letter for rowan is Luis, which is spelt L-U-I-S, and it is thought that Ard Louis on Loch Lomond may have been named after this letter. The Corrie Aqueduct, most of which runs underground from Loch Katrine to Glasgow. This impressive piece of Victorian engineering was built in 1859 to provide the city with fresh water. When it opened, cholera was virtually wiped out overnight. Day 2, Aberfoyle to Callander, 10 miles. Looking back here from the Menteith Hills to the Campsie Hills in the far distance. Peacock butterfly on common knapweed, which has traditionally been used for treating wounds, sore throats, bleeding gums and catarrh. A lovely lake in the Menteith Hills, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce its name. Loch Venacha. Day 3, Callander to Strathire, 10 miles. Much of this stretch runs along the former Glasgow to Oban railway along Loch Lubnaig, site of an old Roman fort just outside Callander. Bridge over the old Glasgow to Oban railway, now a pedestrian and cycle path. This is the Garb Uisge River. Garb Uisge means rough water. Loch Lubnaig, which means crooked. Day 4, Strathire to Killin, 14 miles. I saw this beautiful thug, lesser bindweed, by the path as I was passing through King's House. Start of my hike through the Strathire Forest and Glen Ogle. Balquhidder Church. Rob Roy's grave in Balquhidder Churchyard. This is a diversion of the trail, but it just has to be done, doesn't it? My mileage for this day does not include the extra 4 miles. The Glen Ogle Viaduct. The Falls of Dochart in Killen. Another view of the Falls of Dochart in Killen. And, once again, the Falls of Dochart in Killen. Day 5, Killen to Ardtalnaig, 12 miles. A lochan just outside Killen, and I'm not going to try pronouncing this one either. I saw a lot of woolly coos on the trail. Och aye, the coo. A wee burn running down towards Ardtalnaig and Loch Tay. The same burn on its way down toward Ardtalnaig and Loch Tay. Loch Tay, which is famous for salmon fishing. Day 6, Ardtalnaig to Aberfeldy, 17 miles. After 5 miles, I came to the Hermit's Cave near Achorn and the Falls of Achorn. And I would have thought that this was a highlight, but at that stage I didn't know what was to come. Slogging my way on for another 10 miles with 2,000 feet of gradient through endless forests and lots of typical Tayside scenery. Another vast silent forest above Loch Tay, and like all my previous days on the trail, I didn't see a soul all day until I reached this. Wait for it. The Falls of Mowness and the Birks of Aberfeldy. I had no idea that this part of the trail was so stunningly beautiful, and my photos really don't do it justice. Oh, and I had torrential rain to contend with, but actually that didn't really spoil it, it just added a bit to the atmosphere. The following photos are a selection of some of the many photos that I took while walking through the Birks of Aberfeldy in the pouring rain. It was so beautiful there, and I just couldn't believe that I'd never heard of them before. This sign speaks for itself. This is where Robert Burns was reputedly inspired to write his poem, The Birks of Aberfeldy. And once again, the Birks of Aberfeldy. Day 7, Aberfeldy to Pitlochry, 10 miles. Off to a very damp start along the River Tay with tansy in the foreground. Tansy is effective in eliminating worms from the digestive tract. This shop in Grantley sells the most amazing chocolate truffles. There was a big canoe slalom event taking place as I crossed the River Tay in Grantley. I then spent ages slogging my way uphill through another massive forest, Fonor Forest, until I came to this delightful little stone circle. The stones are believed to be 3,600 years old. The swaying suspension footbridge which crosses the River Tummel to enter Pitlochry. End of the trail at the Memorial Gardens in Pitlochry. Lessons learnt. The Birks of Aberfeldy are beyond beautiful. Contrary to previous expectations, I learnt to love walking solo through the vast, remote and silent forests on the Rob Roy Way. After I completed this trail, my feet were itching and we still had another day in Scotland. So the next day I went mountaineering in the Arrocha Alps. For more details about this, see my chapter entitled Mountains.